Hello, everyone. My name is Chastity Hulett, and I am seeking my master's in learning design and technology. This is my last semester, so I'm real excited to get all of my work submitted in my portfolio, which is what I'm going to talk to you a little bit today. A little bit about myself. I am a teacher. I actually went to a new position. I do gifted resource kindergarten through sixth grade. I've taught for 10 years, third grade, in all subjects. And I have three children. I have an 18-year-old son who's a senior this year, which we're going through a lot with him because it's his senior year and he feels like he's missing out on a lot of stuff right now, which he is. I have a 12-year-old son and I have a 5-year-old daughter. And I also have a husband to go with all those kids. So they are all have been very supportive through this whole process. So it's hard being a mother and a wife and a student, and I know that all of us kind of share, a lot of us share those frustrations a lot of times too. The reason that I wanted to get this degree is because I wanted to. I'm really interested in technology. I was a 21st century teacher in my classroom, and I don't know if all of you know what that means, but where everybody should be 21st century teachers. About 6 years ago, they were choosing teachers that felt comfortable with technology and could do more things in their classroom as far as apps and designs. And so they really would fill your classroom full of technology, and then you had to show how it was affecting your students positively. Where you had a lot of people though to come in and you had to show several different things. So a lot of central offices in my room a lot. So I've just always loved technology in general, and I love to teach. So I thought, hey, I want to go back and get my master's. So I did some research and I felt like this would be the best fit for me. What I hope to do with it, I really like what I'm doing in now. I do some training in my school just on uses of technology, simple things. I also wouldn't mind even eventually going into the IT department within our school system. I don't know that I would want to give up my students, my little students, as far as instruction. So that is something in the back of my mind. Also, then the two things that I want to highlight as far as how I've grown in understanding or uses of technology integration. The first one I wanted to talk about was in Standard 1. And Standard 1 was the visionary leadership, and we had to, I actually was able to kind of meet with the IT department and learn a lot of cool things as far as planning technology and our vision for our school system. And I think the reason that I chose this one is because it was such an eye-opening experience for me. You know, I feel like that I was in a position to where maybe, I worried about what's going on in my classroom and so in our grade level and our school, but I had no idea at all of the things that work behind the scenes to make sure our entire school system is running properly, and how making a plan and having a vision and meeting those goals were how many things go into place and how many people have to be on board with that and how many people's hands are in all of that. So it was very meaningful to me because I want to be part of creating that digital culture within our school system so that all students, because even as I said earlier, the 21st century teacher, I felt like a lot of times teachers, I don't want to say jealous, but I felt like everybody should have that access to that technology that I had. And so it wasn't equal for all students. You know, my students were able to have all this technology. I was able to do lessons where they're able to integrate it into their lessons. We were doing things from home for like a blended and flipped classroom. And the other teachers didn't have the devices or things like that. So very interested in how we could change this digital culture to where that all schools and all students were on the same playing field, and where we could spend and help in the decisions of where we would spend the time in the training for that. The other highlight that I would like to talk about is from Standard 5, which I have pulled up here, which is professional learning and program evaluation. I think I chose this one because it was probably the most stressful and my favorite of the whole program. And I'm not sure who's even going to see this. Our teachers are, our professors have been phenomenal. When I decided to go to UGA, I was worried about how difficult the courses would be. And don't get me wrong, they have been. And I would say probably as far as workload, Dr. Knapp, we have a large workload, but I can say that I've had her more than everybody else. I've learned so much in her class. She is such an integral part to this program for me. And she does a gem-up job. Other ones do too, but she particularly sticks out in my mind. Like I said, I've had her more than anyone else. But this is one of the lessons or projects I did in her class, and like I said, it was on Standard 5, and it's where we had to go in and create a tool that we would use in our classrooms. And so what I did was it was our online teaching and learning class, and our principal came to me and they wanted to increase the knowledge of mathematical reasoning in our students, because it seemed like they were very good at, knowing their facts, but as far as being able to read these new questions that come out from the state test, they weren't able to really process those questions. And if it didn't require just a number answer, they struggled with that. So I was able to create an online teaching process of math, and where students were able to use an online manipulative tool, and they were able to record their work through Educreations and then submit that work to me. And we talked about it because we only had they only meet with me once a week. So I really loved, I felt like I grew so much because there were so many things that I didn't know that I could implement. And so many tools at my hands that my students were able to use that I actually didn't know was even possible to do. We opened up the labs. My principal allowed me to open up the labs early in the mornings, 2 days a week, so that my students could come in that didn't have access, internet access at home. They could come in early and do their assignments. We also had time in the afternoons that students could stay and do those assignments. So, I never thought to ask about that, but it was really, I think it was because I had designed it myself from the bottom up, and while that was such a great highlight for me, it helped me identify areas of weaknesses within not just in our school system, because I then went and trained teachers on how to do it. And so our scores, which I had shared in my portfolio, but our MAP scores in math really went up, and I, as well as my principal and other teachers, felt like that this program really increased the value and the understanding of math reasoning for our students. What I think worked well in this program, I think for me, and I know this could be different for different people, but for me, what worked well was the expectations that most of the professors had of us. And it wasn't just expectations and you went on and taught yourself from a book, but you had a layout, a plan, an organization. So I never had to worry about when things were due or or the layout, or if I could get in touch with my teacher outside of the times that we had allotted. Easy access to the professors. Feedback has been really well. Another thing that I feel like worked really well in this program was how the professors would just not give you a score, but there was times that I submitted things and I was so off course, it was crazy. And then, I would have a meeting with the teacher and we'd talk about it, and then I could resubmit. I may not get full credit for it, but I just thought that it was a great practice to build that camaraderie with your students, and allow you to make mistakes, really, which in turn improves your learning drastically. As far as what would make the program better, I can't really think of anything that I'd say would make the program better. I know that there was at least one, maybe two times that we were going to have a professor, and then at the last minute things changed. And I kind of struggled in those classes. I'm not sure if the teacher had never taught it before, but it was a struggle for the teacher and for us. But overall, I think it was an excellent program, so excellent that I have begun my specialist in learning design and technology, taking my first class this semester. So I've really enjoyed all that Georgia has to offer in this degree. I've enjoyed it so much that I look forward to what all the specialist program has to offer in the next few semesters. Thank you.